Whisky Barron made his international racecourse debut in the Grade 2 Shadwell Joel Stakes on the Rowley Mile last Friday, the 29th of September.
Thanks, Ed. Shadwell Joel Stakes field and loaded away, and they leave the stalls. Fastest out is Custom Cut. And Whisky Barron trying to improve here. Blue with the white crossbox, running a nice race off this absence.
Whilst being in touch up until the last furlong, he tired to finish 14 lengths behind eventual winner Beat the Bank.
Front from Jalota. Whisky Barron a little tight for room as Sir John Lavery tries to improve on the near side. Beat the Bank's out in front, bit of a sitting shot with a furlong to go, but has a 3-length lead. Sir John Lavery now hunting down Beat the Bank, who continues to battle on bravely. Beat the Bank. Sir John Lavery's hanging to the centre of the racecourse. A horse with a terrific win strike rate. Beat the Bank wins again. Whisky Barron was across the line in 5th or 6th place and ran pretty well till just needing the outing.
Having been off the track for 33 weeks due to quarantine regulations, coupled with unfamiliar underfoot conditions, he may well have been in need of the run.
He's come out of his race very well. He obviously needed the run. Unfortunately, we did have quite a lot of rain the week of the race, and it made the ground very soft for him, which obviously he's not at his best on a soft track. He has definitely, in my opinion, come out of the race very well and improved, and we will be looking to run him on the 13th, so next week Friday, in the Challenge Stakes, which is a 7th furlong, back at the Rowley Mile.
Will Greg ride him in that race?
Yes, Greg is coming to ride him, so Greg's had an experience on the track, and I think it'll suit them both, and they'll both be a lot wiser second time around.
Whisky Barron's main target is one of 2 races in Hong Kong on December the 12th, either the Grade 1 Hong Kong Cup or the Grade 1 Hong Kong Mile. Both races are run for a purse of about $3 million US. The former Mike de Kock star Mubtaahij, now trained by Hall of Famer Bob Baffert, made headlines last weekend when he won the Grade 1 Awesome Again Stakes at Santa Anita.
Racing. Midnight Storm away splendidly. He's the early leader from Breaking Lucky and Curlin Rules. Mubtaahij, Donworth, Cupid's right down the outside.
Baffert had fancied the former Dubai star to run a big race in Santa Anita, but may have even been somewhat surprised with the win. Starting at 3-1 and second favourite, Mubtaahij won by 1.5 lengths.
And Mubtaahij looming large on the outside. Win the Space is running a gigantic race. He gets to 4th, then Breaking Lucky. Midnight Storm, Mubtaahij from Win the Space, Cupid, then Breaking Lucky, a 16th to go. Mubtaahij is the leader. Win the Space, Midnight Storm, Cupid battling home, but Mubtaahij is a globalised class act. He wins the Awesome Again. 1.5 lengths from either Win the Space or Midnight Storm, with Cupid 4th.
Baffert commented after the race that Mubtaahij has class and had always been a really good horse. As the 2015 UAE Derby winner, Mubtaahij previously thrilled South African racing fans with his runs in the 2016 and 17 Dubai World Cups, where he finished 2nd and 4th respectively when in the care of de Kock. The Irish-bred son of Dubawi, Mubtaahij, was purchased in France by Jahan Malherbe of Form Bloodstock in August 2013 for €450,000. Exciting news for his racing fans is that through the Win and You're In program, his performance earned him a free place in the $6 million Breeders' Cup Classic on the 4th of November at Del Mar. Baffert has a strong hand in the race, with Arrogate, Collected and West Coast all as potential starters to take on Gun Runner. Enable capped a memorable season with a scintillating win in the Grade 1 Qatar Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe over 2,400 metres at Chantilly last Sunday.
And look how Frankie Dettori's kept his options open and moved Enable off the rail. So Idaho it is who leads the arc. Enable in second place. Order of St George's posted 3 wide in the striped cab. They make their way up past the Royal Stables on the outside of Chantilly.
As the 10-11 favourite, Enable secured Dettori and Gosden their second arc win in 3 years.
As the leaders begin the turn into the straight.
John Gosden, who won with Golden Horn 2 years ago, told BBC Sport she's very special and she was well positioned by Frankie in order to show her sheer class and brilliance.
And Frankie's gone for home at the 300 and she finds 2 lengths. Ulysses, Cloth of Stars, out of the pack in the blue colours, trying to hunt down Enable, who enters the final furlong and he's showing no signs of wilting. Enable from Cloth of Stars and Ulysses summoned a top-class filly. Enable, the Queen of Europe.
Enable had already landed 4 consecutive Group 1 victories at top level in the Epsom Oaks, the Irish Oaks, the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes and the Yorkshire Oaks prior to her win in the Arc. Dettori is no stranger to our shores, having won the Grade 1 Investec Cape Derby on Edict of Nantes earlier this year. It was an unprecedented 5th win for Dettori and his 29th ride in the Arc. The only Arc Dettori has missed was not by choice, but when he broke his ankle in 2013 due to a fall in Nottingham. 3-year-old Enable is owner-bred by Prince Khalid Abdullah of Judmont Farms. She is by the Galileo stallion Nathaniel out of the Sadler Wells mare Concentric. As what can only be described as a competitive season's racing at the highest level, talk is that Enable won't see the track again this year. However, Gosden did say that if she's in great form again next year, she may well be back for the opening of the new Longchamp and a second tilt at the Arc Crown. A mouth-watering treat, to say the least. Barrier trials have been a topic of conversation, and a relatively hot one at that, for many years. Practiced in countries around the world, the topic has once again come to the fore in South Africa. So why are they so contentious? Perhaps let's first of all take a look at exactly what they are. Essentially, barrier trials are training races, practice runs if you like, for young or inexperienced horses and those which have been off the track for some time. Such is their success that they are organised in racing jurisdictions such as America, Australia, the UK and Hong Kong.
A barrier trial is to get all unraced horses to come out and show people that they're prepared to race, let the customer see the horse. They normally go 1,000 metres or so. You can go barrier trials in Mauritius. They have 2 horses sometimes, but they can go up to 10 horses in the silks of the relevant owners, being filmed under commentary and under the guidance of the NHA, and everything is recorded. You can go back. If you're not there, you can look up barrier trials. We use the archaic method of putting horses into races where we know nothing about them and rely on someone to tell us about them, and that is the reason why barrier trials have to come into play. We have to look after the customer because perception is reality. We are not perceived as being an honest game. People out there, it's getting smaller and smaller, it's shrinking. What we've been doing over the last 2 decades hasn't worked. We have to get new customers, and pumping away at the existing customers hasn't helped us grow. Everybody is under the cosh, and the benefits are tenfold. And if I can just touch on them, I was speaking to my brother-in-law Craig Benton, who works in Hong Kong. He's worked all over the world, and he said to me, it is incredible how good they are. People don't miss a moment of barrier trials. Everything's about barrier trials. I spoke to David Payne in Australia. He bought a horse for a leading client in this country for 90,000. Barrier trialed it once, and they sold it without racing to Hong Kong for 250,000. The benefits are you get to see a horse come out the racetrack, you get them to travel in a float, you get them to race in company. They don't have to be thrashed, they just have to be a nice introduction. You can soon see a horse's ability. Yeah. People will work out which stables have them more prepared than others, but at least the public out there get confidence and they say, well, at least we've seen this horse run. We don't have to ask Paul Lafley if his unraced horse is a good horse. We've seen it barrier trial. We had an AGM with the trainers in KZN. Yes. 100% voted for it.
Really?
Yeah.
Are there any negatives associated with it?
No, none whatsoever. You know, I can't see how you can make any negative comparisons. Going racing for the first time without having been to barrier trial, there's every chance horse being green, things going wrong and people losing their money, not knowing what they're doing. We want customer confidence, and having a barrier trial is giving them confidence. That's what it's all about, and letting people see what's going to race on our track soon. It's a big plus for trainers who are battling to put horses together. Give it a barrier trial. You can say to the prospective clients, here's a very nice horse. We need it. We have to look after our customers, and that's the big thing. The sooner we get to look after our customers. I know you speak to the trainers, and they have no faith in the regulators. What faith have the owners got in us? Just look at themselves as well. You know, we're working at getting the regulators to come on board on a lot of issues, but we're not trying to do anything to get new clients into the game, and it's getting smaller and smaller, and the people are falling upon hard times in the training ranks.
Do you think it's a necessary step to take racing forward?
Absolutely. You know, it's long overdue, and if we had more people like Charles Fall, we would have had a lot more achieved. I think it's all about transparency. We've got to sell our product, and we can't sell it to people when we've got insider trading.